Happy Wednesday, damnation, or whatever fucking day we are in, because Lord only knows. What is apparent, though, is that it took roughly 2.5 weeks to go from a world leader into the world's swamp. Yes. The headline for today's Danielle Moodie episode is America is now the world's swamp. And it is becoming more apparent every single day. But did you all happen to check out Donald Trump's press conference with Netanyahu today? Yeah, we're going to get into it. And the mediocrity, the lack of intelligence, the lack of articulation, every time Donald Trump opens up his mouth, he makes the point clear, right? He is America's didn't earn it president, right? That's what he will be forever known as, because it is evident he knows very fucking little, but he does know how to destroy things. Buckle up, friends. It's time for the Danielle Moodie Show. Let's get into it. So, where do we find ourselves on this good Wednesday? Circling the drain of the world, pretty much. But Donald Trump, my God, I gotta thank the cartoonist here at the Baltimore Sun for this image, because the accuracy. It's disgusting in there as rats climb out of Donald Trump's ear. Because my God, I've thought to myself, if you could go in there, would you? What supplies would you even bring aside from an actual brain? Do you know what I'm saying? I would not want to rummage around in Donald Trump's head, right? I think I may come out insane. And so it is so fitting as we go through the day's news that this is the image that caught my eye today. It's disgusting in there. And that can also relate to the entirety of the United States under Donald Trump's control. But let us go into where the breaking news sets us off today. I just, whenever I think it can't get worse, it's like the devil is like, hold my beer. Do you know what I'm saying? So Trump's suggestion that the U.S. take over the Gaza Strip is rejected by allies and adversaries alike. So in a meeting with fucking Netanyahu today, Donald Trump, off the dome, suggested that, here, let me say, Trump's suggestion came at a White House news conference with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who smiled several times at the president as he detailed a plan to build new settlements for Palestinians outside the Gaza Strip, and for the U.S. to take, quote, ownership in redeveloping the war-torn territory into the Riviera of the Middle East. The Riviera of the Middle East. I wonder where Donald Trump got that idea to, level all of Gaza and turn it into a resort. Oh, that's right. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, was one of the first to say so, and then create some flyers and push them out saying that wouldn't Gaza make wonderful beachfront property? Like, these people, I mean, their audacity fucking knows no bounds. Like, there is no bottom when it comes to Donald Trump and his ilk. This is, first of all, biblical fucking land. Second of all, the United States has no claim to said land because it's sovereign land, much in the same way that they didn't have claim to fucking Greenland, that you don't have claim to the Panama Canal. Right? But here's Donald Trump's thoughts, which is like, well, we've been supplying you with all the weapons to blow these people into smithereens, kill over, oh, I don't know, well over 50,000 Palestinian women, children, and men. So let's just level the whole place. And you know what? I'll put up a big Trump hotel, right? Just as gaudy as the rest. And we'll turn this into the Riviera of the Middle East. Who cares about pilgrimages? Who cares about the millions of people that live there, right? Because they're not ever interested in investing in people. They're only interested in investing in themselves and enriching themselves. Take a listen, please.
Let's go. Caitlin, go ahead. Caitlin.
Thank you so much, President Trump.
Caitlin, go ahead.
On what you were saying there.
Say it. Go ahead, please.
Just to follow up on what you were saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries. One, where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision world people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work. And you have to learn from history. History has, you just can't let it keep repeating itself.
Learn what from history?
We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent. But more importantly than that is the people that have been absolutely destroyed that live there now can live in peace in a much better situation because they're living in hell. And those people will now be able to live in peace. We'll make sure that it's done world class. It'll be wonderful for the people. Palestinians mostly we're talking about. And I have a feeling that despite them saying no, I have a feeling that the king in Jordan and that the general president, but that the general in Egypt will open their hearts and will give us the kind of land that we need to get this done, and people can live in harmony and in peace. Thank you all very much.
Did anyone understand any piece of that? First off, what are world people? Is that its own group? Is that its own ethnicity? The question was, who will live there if you're telling the world that the Palestinians should not return to their homes, right? World people will live there. They've tried this peace thing for decades, which, by the way, they fucking have not, right? You don't need to be a scholar to understand that Israel and those in charge of Israel have never wanted a two-state solution. And when one of the prime ministers did, they were killed. Right? So we already know what the issue is over there, right? Sharing, not a vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? And then Donald Trump could give a fuck about Israel as a whole. All he sees is beachfront property for the ultra rich, the world's people. But folks, it gets better because reporters were just sitting there in absolute fucking shock that you would utter anything like this. Mind you, we have a ceasefire that is holding on by a fucking thread that was only decided on but a handful of weeks ago. And this is what Donald Trump is saying. The most powerful leader in the world is saying, oh, you see all of these tens of thousands of Palestinians that are finally able to go back to their land now, right? He's saying, no. Don't go there. Go to Egypt. Go to Jordan, which, by the way, neither country wants anything to do with the Palestinian people, right? You have people marching back, and he's saying, no, just let us level it. We'll turn it into beachfront property. And then what? Charge you millions of dollars that you don't have in order to live there because we refuse to acknowledge your humanity and your right to your land? Oh, it gets better.
Minister, you are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there, redevelopment? And Mr. Prime Minister, do you see this idea as a way to expand the boundaries of Israel and to have a longer peace, even though the Israeli people know how important that land is to you and your citizens, just as the space is inherited by the Palestinians as well?
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent in a really magnificent area that nobody would know. Nobody can look because all they see is death and destruction and rubble and demolished buildings falling all over. It's just a terrible sight. I've studied it. I've studied this very closely over a lot of months, and I've seen it from every different angle. And it's a very, very dangerous place to be. And it's only going to get worse. And I think this is an idea that's gotten tremendous, and I'm talking about from the highest level of leadership, gotten tremendous praise. And if the United States can help to bring stability and peace in the Middle East, we'll do that. Bibi?
First of all, you don't have to be a body language expert to look at the fucking shock on Netanyahu's face, who, by the way, is an absolute criminal, right? Like, should be in handcuffs and underneath somebody's international jail. Let's just, that goes without saying. On top of which, you see his body language like, what the fuck? Like, I came here for more guns and weapons and billions of your tax dollars. Now you're talking about coming in and taking over sovereign land? And he's like holding on to the lectern like, that's not what we discussed. Lord help us. Apparently Donald Trump just sees the world through the lens of real estate development, right? And mind you, that's where the fuck he should have stayed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, stay in your lane. Politics was not it. Thinking was not it. Also, doing a lot of heavy lifting in that clip was the word studied. What does Donald Trump study exactly besides the McDonald's menu, which he knows better than any employee there? He said that. His words, not mine. What exactly did Donald Trump study over the last couple of months in this region of the world, centuries of devastation and war? And everybody, by the way, that he talked to said that it was such a great idea. Who did you talk to? Because you literally just came up with the idea while you were standing there. Who did you talk to? Your Secretary of Defense, the Fox News host and womanizer and drunk? Did you talk about it over drinks? My God. But if you want to see something even better than this, oh God, the find out part of the fuck around would be so good if the rest of us who didn't fuck around could opt out and just watch it like a Netflix special. Do you know what I'm saying? But take a look at this headline. Pro-Trump Arab American group changes its name after the president's Gaza Riviera comments. Oh my. The pro-Trump Arab American group. You mean the folks that were in Dearborn, Michigan, and other places who said that they were not going to vote for former Vice President Kamala Harris because of the devastation that was happening in Gaza, but that they would either abstain or that they would vote for Donald Trump because he had better ideas? You mean that group? And now all of a sudden, 2.5 weeks into his administration, when Donald Trump is now talking about leveling fucking Gaza and turning it into a, I don't know, resort for the rich, now these motherfuckers want to be like, oops. So let's find out what they said. So a group that played a key role in Donald Trump's voter outreach to the Arab American community alongside his allies is rebranding itself after the president said that the U.S. would, quote, take over the Gaza Strip. Bishara Baba, chairman of the group, formerly known as Arab Americans for Trump, said during a phone interview with the Associated Press on Wednesday that the group would now be called Arab Americans for Peace. I have another name. How about Arab Americans that are fucking dumb? How about that name? I'm all for name calling right now, because this man, if there was nothing else, in his first administration, what was the first thing that Donald Trump did? He created the Muslim ban. And then, when the Muslim ban was designated as unconstitutional, he went back to the drawing board, right? Figured out what things he needed to take out and then pushed it through. He rode into office not only the first time designating Mexicans as rapists and drug dealers, but by demonizing, I don't know, the billions of people that make up the Muslim community around the world. The Muslim ban was his second to the Mexican nonsense, his reason to entry, right? So how in God's name, how in Allah's name do you have the audacity to even create an organization called Arab Americans for Trump? How? Make it make sense. Make it make fucking sense, because it absolutely does not. I am embarrassed for these fucking people. 2.5 weeks in, you didn't realize the whole 4 years. And look, folks, I'm not tripping, right? Like, Gaza had me all the way fucked up. Do you know what I'm saying? If you are a person with eyes and ears, right, there is no way that you are watching what was happening, right? What continues to happen, what Netanyahu just did this fucking week in the West Bank by blowing up refugee settlement areas. There is no way that you watch what is happening and know that our tax dollars go to fund that kind of despair and destruction. And I tell folks all the fucking time, I went to Israel and Palestine in 2015. I went there and I witnessed the heartbreak and the apartheid that we were funding with my own fucking eyes. So this is not something that, Danielle is just new to. No, I am new to it, meaning I've known about it and been talking about it for a fucking decade. But my God, how do you pray to a God that Donald Trump has designated a terrorist, and you go out and you campaign for that man. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. So do you think that today I feel bad for these people, that now all of a sudden they're a part of the find out part? No, the fuck I don't. You get what it is you deserve. And I mean that with my full fucking chest. You want to now turn around and change your organization's name to Arab Americans for Peace. Where the fuck was that before? Sometimes we have got to make decisions that are disgusting decisions, that are choices between the rock and the hard place, right? That are choice between a slow death, right? And a quick one. But the reality is that if you are a person of color, if you are a Black person, if you are a Muslim inside of this country, and you had the opportunity to choose between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris was offering at the very least a lens that was going to be different. Donald Trump and his fucking son-in-law told you he wanted to level the place. Why did you think he was joking? My God, the fucking stupidity. It is beyond me. Honestly, beyond me. So, do I feel bad? Absolutely fucking not. I don't. But my heart continues to break over and over and over again for the Palestinian people. Because it seems that no one, nowhere gives a fuck about them. But most certainly, a white supremacist, white nationalist, Islamophobe certainly was not the best choice of whatever you deem to be two evils. I will tell you fucking that. Good God, the stupidity. Speaking of stupid, I don't want to see Chuck Schumer any fucking place. The only time that I want to see Chuck Schumer at a lectern again is for him to announce that he is stepping down as minority leader in the Senate. To watch Chuck Schumer stand up and start this chant offbeat and tone deaf. We will win, we will win, we won't rest. Motherfucker, you look like you took a lot of time off. Do you know what I'm saying? A lot of time off over the last couple of years. You clearly don't know what it means to fight, and you surely as fuck don't know what it means to win, because we lost more seats in the Senate. It's not as if you fucking held strong. So how is it that you were standing at a lectern thinking that you're going to do a little song and dance and chant, and somehow we're going to feel what? Energized? I felt nothing but disgust. I am so sick and tired of this man. Because, by the way, I am a New Yorker. Chuck Schumer has been in the Senate my entire fucking life. And by the way, great skin, but I am not young. Okay? He has been at every fucking graduation that I have attended for myself, for my little cousins. I can't think about somebody who needs to retire more than Chuck Schumer. Like, I cannot. And the thing is, folks, I want people to understand, I'm not an ageist, because there are some people like Representative Al Green who have always been the voice of the people, who have always stood up and done the right thing, who for so long has represented the people of Texas in the 9th Congressional District. And this week, once again, came forward.
And still I rise, Mr. Speaker. And I rise today, Mr. Speaker, with a to whom it may concern message. To whom it may concern, ethnic cleansing in Gaza is not a joke. especially when it emanates from the President of the United States, the most powerful person in the world, when he has the ability to perfect what he says. Ethnic cleansing in Gaza is no joke, and the Prime Minister of Israel should be ashamed, knowing the history of his people, to stand there and allow such things to be said. Ethnic cleansing has been a crime against humanity. And I stand here today in the well to denounce what was said, to denounce what the president said, to denounce the complicity of the Prime Minister of Israel, and to remind people that Dr. King was right. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And injustice in Gaza is a threat to justice in the United States of America. I rise to announce that the movement to impeach the president has begun. I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done. I also rise to say that the impeachment movement is going to be a grass-up movement, not a top-down. The people have got to move forward. The people have to demand it. And when the people demand it, it will be done. I did it before. I laid the foundation for impeachment, and it was done. Nobody knows more about it than I. And I know that it's time for us to lay the foundation again. On some issues, it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. On this issue, I stand alone, but I stand for justice. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back.
Let me tell you something. That is what leadership looks like. That is what power looks like. He said that sometimes you must stand alone, but I stand for justice. And that has been his consistent refrain the entire time that he has been in Congress. I can remember talking to this wonderful man when I used to work on the Hill, thanking him consistently for his leadership and courage. Because you know what? He didn't make backroom deals on the backs of the people in the way that Chuck Schumer has. He didn't do what was just good for him in the moment to make him look powerful. Because he always has had his eyes on justice and on the people. What Chuck Schumer has had his eyes on is power. And I honestly believe, in some ways, Chuck Schumer has been a part of the Project 2025 plan. What do I mean by that? Do you think at all that Republicans have ever been afraid of Chuck Schumer and his strategic mind? Do you think that they've ever had to figure out how to maneuver around the chessboard that he has laid out? No. Because they know that he is the king of compromise. He is the king of backroom deals. What we need right now are fighters, right? We need people that are willing to say the tough things, to get out and be in the street, to get the people actually moving and up and out of their apathetic slump. You think that Chuck Schumer's "we will win" is going to be the thing? Give me a fucking break. Right now, we are in a messaging war as well as a policy war, because they are tearing down our government piece by piece, literally hour by hour. And the Chuck Schumers and the Nancy Pelosi's are like fucking shocked, as if they weren't given the blueprint. We were all given the blueprint. It was bound for us, entitled Project 2025. So why in God's name, over the last 4 years, when you all were working with the Biden administration, you didn't think, you had a lack of imagination, as I say, in terms of how much dirt these people were going to be able to do? You thought it was going to be the same fucking circus and that you were going to be able to act as the same fucking clowns. But they flipped the script. But they actually gave you the fucking script. You just chose not to read it. But there are some people. Thank God for the AFL-CIO. There are some people who actually came prepared, who actually came ready. This organization is one of them. AFL-CIO launches Department of People Who Work for a Living because they understand how to grab a headline. They understand what's going on. Here's the press release. If Elon Musk can make up his own government department, so can workers. Today, the AFL-CIO has launched the Department of People Who Work for a Living, DPWL, a new campaign to hold Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, accountable and make sure the federal government is responsive to working people and not just to the whims of an unelected CEO like Musk. It goes on. The government can work for billionaires or it can work for working people, but not both, said AFL-CIO President Liz Shuler. Elon is just getting started, and he has already tried to force workers doing essential services, including at the FAA and air traffic controllers, even after the tragedy at Washington National Airport, to retire, gained access to the Treasury Department's payment system with everyone's private data, and is declaring entire government agencies like USAID shut down and blocking workers from accessing the building and their email. We will hold DOGE and Elon Musk accountable because we are certain that the people who keep our food and medicine safe know more about how to make government efficient than an outsider whose companies benefit from the very agencies he is infiltrating. Folks, this is what it means to flip the script. This is what it means to flip the script and communicate to the people what it is that you are doing and the actions that you are taking, aside from the bevy of lawsuits that they have ongoing. That's what it looks like to message, right? Not standing in front of somebody's lectern, chanting, "We will win," when we have literally lost everything and continue to do so every hour of every goddamn day of this Trump regime. I tell you what, on top of which, I don't care about titles. Minority leader, minority speaker, X, Y, and Z, ranking member, I don't give a fuck. None of that matters right now, does it? It doesn't. What matters now are people that have the courage, like Bishop Buddy, like Representative Jasmine Crockett, like AOC, like Elizabeth Warren, like Representative Al Green, to tell the fucking truth, right? This is no longer a time for coddling people's feelings. It's time to rip the goddamn Band-Aid off. And there is nobody better at doing that than her.
Tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. This is why they are trying to literally say we won't fund the HBCUs, because they know that if they've already gone after affirmative action and they're saying, you know what, don't allow them to come into, say, these PWIs, as we call them, don't allow them to come into these institutions. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions.
Ding, ding,
so
ding.
now they're not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harrises. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's. But I got news for them. I don't care what they do. We will fight to the end to make sure that we get our due. Because again, if you want to talk about the people that shouldn't be in this country, you probably need to look in the mirror, because the last time I checked, the Native Americans who Summer ICE have been rounding up, or the Puerto Ricans who are absolutely Americans, listen, the only people that came and colonized this place are your ancestors, Trump.
Boom. That's how you do it. That's how it gets done, right? She's not mincing words. Because the reason why we're in this situation right now is because both Republicans and Democrats wanted to coddle mediocre white motherfuckers. That's why. And instead of telling folks that, you know what, you actually need more skills. You know what, you actually need more education in order to compete in the 21st century. No. It's easier for Donald Trump to come in and just tell them, oh, no, don't worry about it. We'll just get rid of the competition, not increase your competency. So, folks, you have to understand, right? I say that this show is consistently about connecting the dots, right? We know, they know that they are mediocre. They know they don't have what it takes. And they think that by coming in, right, kicking in the door, changing data, right, stealing from the American people, that they are going to have their way, that they are going to remain on top. Nobody ever remains on top. And maybe if Donald Trump were actually a student of history, he would know how this ends up. Okay? You have terms, eat the rich for a fucking reason, right? We are right now, I tell you about the stars and the planets right now. Do you know what is interesting about this astrological moment that we are in? It's the same stars that were up in the sky during the American Revolution and during the French Revolution. There is only so much pushing that the people will take before the people push back. And I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy. I'm not telling you that it's going to be safe, because safety, right, is an illusion, and so is ease. People have been asleep for too fucking long. That's the problem. That's why they waged a war on wokeness, right? Because what does it mean to be woke? It means to be conscious. It means to be awake. You are more valuable to them when you are asleep. You are more valuable to them when your head is stuck in the sand. So they want you undereducated. They also want you sick, which is why you have RFK Jr. about to be the secretary of HHS. Because when you are undereducated, when you are sick, when you are in despair, you are easier to fucking control. And you will take whatever scraps that they give you and be grateful for them. That's what they want. They want you worshiping at the feet of them, grateful for the crumbs that they put out. And the people have got to say, hell no. So I don't know how much more folks need to see. I don't know, right, how much folks need to take. But the reality is that you can only push people but so far, right, before they push back. And I pray that the pushing back is beginning. Because, you know, I will say this as I close out the show today. I did something today because apparently I don't do enough things, right? So I launched my Substack today with a new article. So if you want to follow me and subscribe on Substack as well, I'm going to be putting out writing over there, DanielleMoodie.substack.com. But I posted this article today, What time is it? Right? With everything moving around us at a velocity we can't control, time feels elusive. And the fact is, right? The fact is that I said, you may not know some days what day it is, because today, when I got up, I thought that it was fucking Tuesday, right? Like I lost the entire day. And then one of my friends texts me and he's like, oh, I thought today was Thursday, as did my girlfriend. I thought today was Thursday. No, it was Wednesday, right? Because we are just so caught up in the motherfucking chaos that we don't know which way is up and which way is down. But what I did say, and I encourage everyone to go over to daniellemoodie.substack.com and sign up. What I did say is that you may not know what day it is, but you absolutely know what fucking time it is. And it is time for a revolution. It is time for the people, right, to recognize that we have differences. We are different, right? We have different ethnicities, different religions, different races, different orientations, right? Different gender identities. But the thing that we have in common is that we want to live free of oppression. The things that we have in common is that we want to live in joy and in peace. Right? I don't need to look like you, love like you, fuck like you. I don't need to do any of those things. But what we have in common is our shared desire to live free. That, dear friends, is what we need to organize around. That is what we need to link arms around. We need to move outside of our siloed issues, right? Move outside of these siloed beliefs that we don't understand that our destinies are in fact linked. That I am not successful if you are struggling. And if you are struggling, then I am not successful. And once we start to actually move and think as a collective, then the oligarchs will run scared. Because they get off on, they grow from our fear and our despair. And the only thing that should cause us despair is believing that we are alone, believing that we are the only ones. We are not. So it does not matter if you know somebody that is undocumented. It does not matter if you know somebody that is trans. It does not matter if you know somebody that is Black or you know somebody that is Muslim. Because their success is intertwined with your success. And when the least among us is successful, we are all successful. And that is what they do not want. We have to move outside of this place of scarcity that they have us locked into and understand that there is more than enough for all of us. We have to operate from a place of abundance, particularly at a time when they are creating scarcity as a way to create chaos. Do not fall for the rope-a-dope. So what time is it? It's time for a revolution. That's what time it is. That is it for me, dear friends, today on the Danielle Moodie Show. And it is, in fact, Wednesday. I will be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, for Call to Action Thursday, where we will unpack more like we did yesterday with regard to what is our role in the movement. And we will go through the movement map that I put up yesterday. So if you did not watch yesterday's episode, I please do tell you to watch. And as always, like I do at the end of every show, please like, comment, and subscribe. I believe that I am only about 60 subscribers away from 13,000. Can we hit 13,000 today, dear friends? Can we hit 13,000 today? I am 60 subscribers away. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's continue to build this incredible community. I want to thank our fantastic moderators who just do a great job moderating the chat every single show. I want to thank you all for your donations. I tell you this, independent media, every single dollar that you share allows me to continue doing the work that I do and delivering you the content that you deserve. I will see you all back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. As always, power to the people and to all the people power. Get woke, stay sane. And in these extraordinarily dangerous times, dear friends, do stay safe. See you tomorrow.